What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Flow State with yours truly, Harry Mack. My guest today is an actor best known for portraying one of the most beloved characters in all of television. We're going to talk about spirituality. We're going to talk about death. We're going to talk about zonkeys. And last but not least, we're going to collab on an epic freestyle. My friends, get ready for Rainn Wilson.
This is for my flow state. Add it, yeah. Kyle know we back at it. Ain't it crazy how the mind works magic? We gon' show you the method behind the madness, cause this is for my flow state.
How did you get into this whole freestyle thing? How did that start? Do you just realize, like, you're a teenager, you listen to rap and you realize that I can just do this?
Sort of, except
It is cold in here.
Yeah, here, we'll kill the AC.
What are we going to talk about?
Man,
I'm so nervous.
No, please. Are you kidding? I'm nervous, man. We're so happy to have you.
You're really actually pretty lucky to have me.
Yeah, no, I feel very lucky.
I'm going to pull this plant closer.
Yeah, please. Dude, I loved this book.
Dude, you read my book?
I finished it last night. I read the whole thing.
You read the whole thing of my whole book?
Look at all the marginalia.
Dude, you took notes on every page. This is nuts.
I loved it.
You got underline, bro.
Come on.
Mad respect. Thank you.
Mad respect
Wow.
to you. I loved it. Your vocabulary is amazing. I was going to tell you, I box the words I don't know.
Oh.
I haven't looked any of them up yet.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
hit
please.
some of these. Let's hit some of the, you box the words you don't know?
And some of them I know, like
We're
Torah.
rolling, right?
I know Torah.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I don't know it as well as I want to. So some words I kind of know.
So bellwether, morass, and gussied up.
Yes.
You know, I hope we're rolling.
Giving you a hand.
Yeah. So bellwether, morass. Are you good?
Yeah, we are all set.
Okay. Bellwether, morass, and gussied up. You don't know what gussied up means.
No. What does gussied up mean?
Getting dressed up fancy.
Oh, okay.
You don't know what a bellwether is?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of like it's a sign of something that's to come. It's like
Okay.
I don't know, they always talk about like Ohio is a bellwether state for the election. Like
Right.
the way that Ohio is polling is where the election is going to go. It's a bellwether state.
I see. So like would dark clouds be a bellwether for a storm coming?
Yeah, you could kind of say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And morass, you don't know morass?
No, what's morass?
Yeah, like it's a soupy bad place to be stuck. Yeah.
Like a humid swamp.
How about coterie?
Did I box that?
Yes.
Yeah, then
Coterie is a gang, a little gang, a little clique. A
Okay.
little clique.
Okay.
Yeah, a coterie.
We're here with our podcast Coterie.
This is your coterie here.
Coterie. Oh, it's
Yeah,
a T
or either
sound.
way. Yeah, coterie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Beautiful.
love this. He's circled every word. Who do I look to? He circled every word in my book that he doesn't get. This is really cool. You know milk toast. Milk toast. Well, you can imagine what milk toast means.
I can envision it. I mean, is
Yeah.
that toast dipped in milk?
Yeah, which is bland. Just something that's really bland. Milk
okay.
toasty.
Okay.
Yeah. Ungainly.
Ungainly.
You know what that is.
From the context, I'm sure I know.
Yeah.
Like, what's the sentence?
Awkward. Okay, sorry, I gave it away.
No, that's all right. All right. Try me another one and test me on context.
Okay, on context. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is great. This is so nascent.
Nascent. Right. So what's the sentence?
We would probably need another 39 years to flesh things out and make our nascent religious movement a bit more substantial.
Honestly, I could go multiple directions with the context. Like nascent could mean new and novel in this case because it's a new thing you've concocted, or it could be all encompassing.
No.
New. No, I already said that.
It's like burgeoning. It's like just being born,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Like early on, Ask Jeeves was part of the nascent internet.
Got it. Yes.
You know what I mean?
MySpace was part of the nascent social media.
Yes, exactly. No one knew how much it would grow. That was it. Yeah. That's cool, man. Thank you for reading the book and all these notes. This is so great.
Oh, thank you for writing it. I genuinely loved it.
Important argument, he wrote. Awesome, he wrote. What is your meditation like? He asks. Fact. You're quoting Dwight there. You've got fact.
Yes. Right.
This is awesome. Thank you.
No,
So cool.
thank you, man. I loved it. We're already talking, but can I give you a little intro anyway?
No.
Okay. That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. We'll nix the intro.
We'll skip it.
Yeah, we'll do it in post.
We don't need it.
We can do an AI version.
People have started calling me legend now. Like they'll meet me and they're like, "You're legend," or "Yo, legend," or "No, you don't get it. It's like this. That basically means I'm old. Like I really, seriously,
Yeah.
I have crossed a threshold. A good buddy of mine who's my same age said that like sometimes he goes into coffee shops now and they give him like free coffees,
Right.
and he's like, "Oh, is the barista like flirting with me?" And he goes, "No." He realized like he's an old man. He's a cute old man, and they give him a coffee like he's like kind
Right.
of a homeless guy.
Right.
So that's kind of legend. But I am so legend, I don't need an introduction.
Boom. That's it. That is fire. I
Okay.
love that. That was a legendary thing to say.
Right?
So, there you go. You are
All right.
proving right now that you are a legend. Rainn, I'm so happy to have you here. Man.
Harry, I'm so happy to be here, man.
Thank you
For
for
real.
stopping by. Thank you.
For real.
Dude, I loved reading your book. I really did. I feel like it came to me at the right time.
Okay.
And I want to get all into it. But first,
Yeah.
I was excited to learn that we actually have a decent amount in common.
Okay, let's hit that.
So one thing I learned from your book is that when you were 19, you bought an old Volvo,
Yeah.
which you named the Newt. Is that right?
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that your first car?
That was my first car, yeah.
Dude, my first car was also a Volvo.
Okay.
A 1990 Volvo 240 DL, the real boxy looking one.
Yeah.
And it was Battleship Gray, and mine
Okay.
was named the Tank because it was invincible.
That's amazing. They are invincible. You can drive them through anything.
Yeah.
Drive them through a wall or through a mountain range or anything.
I mean, yeah. So one time I was stopped at a red light,
Yeah.
and I got rear-ended. This woman was distracted on her phone, which is some foreshadowing for some of the other things we might get into talking about.
Okay.
But she was distracted and came up on the light and didn't hit the
And
brakes
her
in time.
front end was smashed and yours didn't have a scratch.
Yes.
Yes.
I felt bad.
Yeah.
Even though it was so clearly and undeniably her fault.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yet I felt bad because her car was totaled and my Volvo had a slight scratch that may have been there before.
Right. You don't even know.
I didn't even know.
Mine was a stick shift, and I tell a story in there where I would, you could pull the stick shift out,
Yeah.
and then there was a hole in like where it goes into the transmission, and you could see the pavement
Yeah.
going by, and then you could stick it right back in and get right back to where you were. So on date, I would take girls out on dates, and I'd pull it out and I'd go, and look, and they'd look down, they'd scream. It was hysterical.
That is so hilarious.
And I
man.
never got second dates, though. It was the oddest thing.
It may have crossed it over into traumatizing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's-
Nowadays, that would be a trigger trauma or
Yes,
something.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we're part of the Volvo family.
Sweet.
Also, we're both from the Pacific Northwest.
No. I thought you were from L.A.
I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Get out.
Born and raised, man. My guy.
I'm Seattle, but my wife's Portland, and
Okay.
I've got a cabin up in Oregon. I hang out up there.
Beautiful.
Mad respect for Portland. I was just there. Love it.
Yeah. So I had a lot of aunts and uncles on my mom's side that lived in Seattle. So we
Okay.
would make the drive, 2 or 3
Sure.
hour drive
Yeah.
up there all the time. And I love Seattle, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It used to be a 2-hour drive, and now it's like you can count on like the 5-hour drive from Portland to Seattle.
Yeah,
You know?
because right when you get 45 minutes to what should be 45 minutes to an hour outside, it's just it's
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a parking lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you go up to the Northwest a lot still?
I still go up a couple times a year. I go
Yeah.
up in December. We celebrate Christmas, so I go up for the holiday.
Okay.
And then
What part of Portland?
I used to live right across from Laurelhurst Park, if you know where that's
okay,
at.
sure.
In the Laurelhurst neighborhood. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
And then now my parents moved. They live a little.
What high school did you go to?
Grant High School.
Okay, my wife went to Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like rivals.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew I had friends and acquaintances at Lincoln. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
Okay, awesome.
And then the third thing that I noticed that we have in common.
Right.
At least one more, probably more that will be revealed.
That's why
to
we
us.
both had Volvos, because we're both from the Northwest.
Well, that's what I
and
was
it's-
gonna say, yeah.
It's thick with Volvos up there.
Oh yeah, it's either a Volvo or a Subaru Outback.
Yeah.
It's one or the
100%.
other.
Uh-huh.
I'm a drummer.
Okay.
So I went to school. I studied jazz studies at the Thornton School of Music at USC in Los Angeles. That's what brought me here. And you played a drummer
Yeah, I did.
in a film called The Rocker. Is that right?
That's right. Did you ever see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
You asshole.
I'm sorry.
Why would you? You read my entire book. You wouldn't watch The Rocker. It's 90 minutes.
But
It's
to
a
be fair-
drum movie. It's a movie about drums, and you're a drummer. How did you never see that movie?
Forgive me. I just finished the book last night. If I was a faster reader, I would have finished it the night prior, and then I would have watched The Rocker.
If you hadn't been circling so many words that you didn't know.
Yeah. If I had a better vocabulary, we wouldn't have this problem.
That's awesome, man. I still am a believer in that movie, The Rocker. It bombed at the box office, and which gutted me, just devastated me. This was my chance at like the Rainn Wilson starring vehicle during the height of The Office, and it really did not work.
Damn.
But I still think it is a very good movie, starring multiple Academy Award winner Emma Stone.
Woo!
Where we discovered and put her in her first movie, basically.
Let's go. No, dude, that's awesome. I am excited to watch it, man. And I wanted to ask you, did you have to learn how to play a little bit to be convincing on camera?
So I knew basics of like a rock beat, right?
Okay.
But for The Rocker, like as soon as I got cast, they delivered a drum kit to my house, and then this drum teacher named Stuart kind of rolled up, and you know how drum teachers are.
Yeah.
And then I had to first learn basics of drumming. Then I had to learn how to be a heavy metal drummer, because he's very specifically a metal drummer.
Got you.
So just like big flourishes and big, you know, kind of Tommy Lee kind of fills and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And then I had to start getting the music that was going to be in the film, and then I had to learn to play the drum tracks from the score.
Wow.
And then when we were on the set, I had a trailer with two halves. So one side was for me with my stuff, and the other half was for my drum kit. So then I would go on breaks, and I would go in and be rehearsing the drums on almost every break.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Did you enjoy the drum training?
I loved it. Drums are so therapeutic, you know?
I know. Yeah.
My son plays a little bit. He's 19, and whenever he's like frustrated and fed up, he goes down into our kind of garage where we keep the drums, and you just hear him pounding for an hour.
Oh, dude, it's so, I mean, it's such a huge part of my life. I started playing when I was 10.
You were more jazz, though.
Jazz, yeah.
So you were like Whiplash.
I was like Whiplash.
How did that sit with you?
It was cool. You know, I mean, so I didn't really know what kind of music I wanted to play when I started playing the drums. I just knew that I thought the drums were awesome, and I wanted to hit things, you know, and I wanted to get that energy out. But my dad was really into jazz. So my dad has like a big CD collection, you know, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, all the greats. Yeah. And so he kind of shared that music with me early on, and I started playing along with those records.
Who's your favorite jazz drummer?
Philly Joe Jones.
Oh, I don't know him.
He played with Miles in the 50s.
Okay.
In the first
Early.
Miles Davis quintet. Yeah. I love the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Max Roach is another. Elvin Jones. These are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buddy Rich?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are things that Buddy Rich can do that people still don't know
They still
how to
don't
do.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. One-handed rolls and just, I mean, he was an alien.
Yeah.
Total alien.
Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm stoked to watch that. Like I said, no smoke being blown. Loved this book.
Yeah.
Very much.
Thanks.
And no, thank you. And I feel like it came to me, like I was saying, at the right time. I feel like I am sort of the audience for this book. And I mean, I think arguably any human being could be the audience for this book. But for me in particular, I fall very much into what you describe as the fastest growing spiritual category for millennials and Gen Zers, which is spiritual but not religious.
Yeah. Yeah. Fastest growing religion in the Western world. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also call them the nuns.
Right.
Because when you fill out a questionnaire, like what religion are you? It's none of the above.
Yes.
But you don't check atheist. You're still like none. There's some spiritual feeling.
Yes.
But yeah, this.
That's me, man. And just I'll give you just a little background on my sort of religious journey. Both my parents were raised Christian. I'm not even sure which denomination, but they were both raised Christian. My dad was a hippie when he was a young guy. My mom was pretty free-spirited as well. I think they met in Washington.
Okay. Another thing we have in common, like hippie parents from Washington.
Let's go.
Come on.
We might be the same person.
Brother from another mother.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
By the time my parents had kids, they weren't really religious.
Okay.
Like we didn't go to church at all.
Yeah.
We celebrate Christmas. So there's that. We celebrated Easter, I guess. That was about it. And then randomly, there were 2 years where we did go to church. We went to this Presbyterian church.
Okay.
And I think it was partly because some of my parents' friends went there. And there was this, like, they were like, well, they're going, let's go. It was a community thing. And then the other thing, in talking with my parents, was like, they didn't want to totally deprive us of knowing that this is a thing. You know, like, hey, church is a thing. You know, people go here. Religion is a thing.
You might want to consider this at some point if this turns you on, if this floats your boat.
Exactly. Get
in here, a little Jesus action, some cues, some singing, and
little Sky Daddy, as you call him.
Lemon bars. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, I hated it. I absolutely,
okay.
I mean, it was just because I never understood what the guy was talking about. And I was always so tired. That's what I remember. My eyes were so heavy and I wanted to just put my head down.
Were they taking you to like dawn church or something? Usually church is like 11. So
I feel like this was at like 7 a.m., but I don't know. Maybe I had issues as a child.
Okay.
So, but in any case, I always just wanted to put my head down on my mom's lap and sleep. You know, that's what I remember. And I would try, and she'd be like, "Harry, you got to sit up. You know, you can't do this."
Yeah.
So I'm just, I feel like I'm drugged. And then in the Sunday school, it was worse because I felt so inadequate and left out because I didn't know shit. And these kids knew so much.
they knew the stories of the Good Samaritan and, you know, and
they knew it all.
Yeah, all the 10 Commandments. And
Yes. There was this activity where like the leader handed out paper and markers. And the assignment was like, okay, like let's draw our favorite figure from the Bible. And I was like, I only know Jesus and like Santa. Like is Santa, he's part of this, right? Like, can I draw Santa? Is that acceptable? And they know like apostles and saints and all these people and have a conception of how they might draw them.
Yeah.
You know, not just know their name, but like they've seen them in picture books and, you know, and so.
I'm going to draw Andrew Filippi. In the era-appropriate robes and hairstyle.
Exactly. So I just felt like, I felt embarrassed, I think. And I kind of was just like, man, screw this. And I kind of rejected it. And then I was an atheist all through, more or less. I mean, I was kind of like a science guy. I think I was an atheist through middle school, high school, even most of college. And then spirituality, minus the religion, started coming back into my life in the last, more recently, maybe 5 or 6 years.
And what prompted that?
I was sort of dealing with some personal struggles, you know? So similar to some of the stuff that I know you mentioned as part of your story, but I struggled with addiction, you know? I had issues with alcohol and some drugs, mainly marijuana, but I always overdid it with those things. And it started to impact my life negatively. And I started to feel like I should stop doing this. But it was years after I had that initial thought. I probably had that thought in my young 20s, 22, 23. I'm 34 now. It wasn't until I was 30 that I actually was able to stop. So it was years of kind of being like, this is not good anymore. And I don't like this anymore. You know,
it's actually another thing that's very similar to me. Like I had a lot of problems with sex and drugs and rock and roll and alcohol early to mid 20s. But then I knew the drinking was kind of like a problem, that I was too dependent on it and leaning on it too much. But it was another real long time until I think I was 32, 34 when I kind of got sober from alcohol. That's so a similar kind of thing. What do you think when you were 32, or what'd you say? How old were you when you got sober from alcohol? I need to do the math here. It was I was 33.
33.
Yeah.
What was it about that point in your life that gave you the strength you needed or that motivated you to really do it?
You know, here's how human beings work. We don't change unless we're really unhappy. And unless we hit a wall, unless we hit our head, slam our head against the ground and our skulls start to bleed, that's when we change. And I wish we changed more and more often, but it was misery, you know, it was anguish. It was a lot of pain. I was just unhappy. And I was like, maybe it's the alcohol and maybe it's, you know, maybe it's the porn, and let me give up the alcohol and the porn. And and get, just like really clean, and maybe that'll do it.
Yeah.
And in some ways it worked a little bit, but in some ways it makes things worse because you're no longer medicating.
Right.
Like if I was medicating every day with alcohol, even just a little bit, even just 2 or 3 beers on some nights, but there was always a medication.
Yeah.
Then you let that go, then you're a raw nerve.
Yeah.
But that's when I got into therapy, and that's when I started to kind of really get some help. I had just moved to LA at that time.
Got
So,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anguish is a good motivator to
Yes.
change your fucking life.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, it's interesting. I sometimes think about, okay, like what happened when I turned 30? What was different? Like why was I tried to stop many times before and failed. So it's like, why did I stop that time? And it's kind of interesting. I woke up on my 30th birthday the next morning, completely hungover, feeling terrible. I had blacked out the night before. I didn't exactly know what had happened. And this was not that uncommon. This was
Okay.
like, this happened all the time. And
Had your friends had the talk with you about
No, 'cause
were
the-
worried or anything? Or were they all getting blacked out drunk too as well?
kind of. I don't think they were going as far as I was, and I don't think they realized that I was going further than others. It was, but yeah, we were all out drinking and partying. It was a thing, and but no, I was kind of the life of the party when I did it. I generally wasn't that
Right.
problematic. I didn't
Yeah.
cause issues for others, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would do something embarrassing and have to apologize or whatever it was, but it was
Yep.
never like nothing catastrophic.
Yeah. It was the same with me. Yeah.
Yeah. But I woke up, I was hungover, I was 30, and I was like, you know what, man? I hate this. I really fucking hate this. I feel horrible about myself. The thing is, when I would wake up after drinking, I would feel so much anxiety and so much kind of like this displaced guilt almost, which I don't really even know what that was about, but it was just like, I didn't love myself in those times, and it felt awful. And I was like, let's stop. And then I decided I was going to stop. I had a journaling routine at that time. I do the morning pages.
Oh, nice. Do you do that from the artist's way?
The Artist's Way, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I love that book. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
me too.
Life-changing book.
So good.
Everyone out there, get the Artist's Way. Don't buy my book. Buy the Artist's Way. And
Buy both.
Start writing.
Yeah. Dude, it's amazing. Do you do the morning pages?
I don't do it regularly, but
Yeah.
I have gone through periods when I've done it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
But I will still journal when I need to journal about something,
Yeah.
and or I'll journal when I'm just feeling the need to get the creative juices going.
Totally.
Because it lets your subconscious talk.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a great tool to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been committed to it pretty much every morning since I turned 30.
Oh, damn, that's great.
Yeah, and I love it. I look forward to it like more than almost anything else in my day. It's the first thing I do, and I'm always jazzed to do it. But yeah, for a couple weeks when I had turned 30, the first line of my morning pages was the most important thing is my sobriety. I wrote that to start it off every time. And then a couple weeks later, COVID came. And it was this giant global shift, as we all know. And so I think it was kind of that thing. It's like, if you want to change your environment. The environment just changed all around me. And I remember having this thought, like, it's going to be really bad if I'm just sitting around drinking or smoking weed all day while we're all stuck at home.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not going to be a nice story.
And I think a lot of people learn that the hard way.
Yeah. And I'm sure people who didn't even have as much of an issue with it before developed an issue during that time.
The studies especially around elderly women, especially in their 60s and 70s, turning to drink during COVID and now having a lot of alcoholic dependency is like it was through the roof, especially for oddly that demographic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, man.
Yeah.
Damn. It was that was a tough time.
It was like your mom.
What's that?
Your mom.
My mom's age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom was probably doing that drink.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom.
White wine spritzers at over lunch, right?
Yeah.
A picture of them.
Yeah, hopefully not, but possibly. Yeah, she's right in there. But yeah, man, the COVID started. I said I don't want to be sitting around drinking, and then oddly, my career during this incredibly painful time of COVID starts taking off.
That's when it blew up, right? 2020, 2021.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when I first saw your stuff out there. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know if you'd ever seen my stuff before.
Oh, yeah, sure, man.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. All right.
Matcha green latte in papazite on my bate, and I got, I'm all about that freestyle.
Dude, clearly, fire.
Yeah,
fire.
I live to flow.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. This podcast is called Flow State.
I know. I thought that was about peeing, but I get the connection. Yeah. Okay.
It's interpretive. It can be about peeing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my career started taking off. So there were all these shifts, all these things kind of coincided.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, it's a new decade of my life. I'm so tired of this thing. This COVID thing is happening. There's this new excitement simultaneously around my career. And I don't know if that's the reason, but I kind of connect those dots for myself personally, that might be why I was finally able to kind of actually stop. And I've been sober from drugs and alcohol for over 4 years now.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think too, when you're kind of, your system is rewarded, you're kind of like, I got sober, I was doing morning pages, finding new ways to express myself.
Yeah.
I was freestyling, which probably got a little bit snappier and more open. Then I was getting success for that. So you're getting that positive affirmation. You're
exactly.
Getting that, so it just kept you on that same track.
Totally. And I think that kind of compensated for some of that, like you talk about, the pain of letting go of this medication. It was kind of maybe balanced out in some ways by those new rewards that came along.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So in the book, you mention your favorite quote about spirituality.
Yeah.
Which I actually was familiar with. I didn't know I was familiar with it.
Okay.
But I knew of it because the rapper Talib Kweli flips it at the beginning of his verse on a song called 2000 Season.
Get out.
Yeah. I got to send it to you.
Yeah.
You would love it. So the first line of the verse is, I'm not a human being getting on some spiritual shit. A spiritual being manifested as a human. That's it.
Oh man, that's sick. That's great.
And when I read and your favorite quote around spirituality, which is where that comes from, I was like, okay, I know that. I always loved that line, but I didn't know the origin.
Yeah.
Could you share
my man Teilhard de Chardin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard it from the rapper Père Teilhard de Chardin, Jesuit priest, philosopher. No, the quote is, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And again, that is a quote that for me, I try and remind myself in some way, shape, or form every day that is true. And it puts everything into perspective for me. So it's not some philosophical quote.
Right.
It's knowing that my reality is a spiritual being.
Yeah.
And that I am in this glorious meat suit for 80, 90, 100 years, however long.
Right.
Having the same struggles that everyone else is having. That, being disrespected and being impatient and wanting your career to be different and being afraid of things and falling in love with things and the human experience.
Yeah.
So that's what Soul Boom, the book, is really about, and also the podcast is really kind of focused more on that. But to me, it grounds me, and it also is kind of a North Star. It really, I set my sail by that. And when I'm in, like this, I'll be really honest with you, this morning, for no good reason, at all, I was just filled with angst. I was filled with anxiety.
Yeah.
I didn't like myself very much. I had fear. I was feeling just frustrated and impatient. And I have a pool. I'm so lucky. Taking a pool, swim in the pool. A lot of people right now like, fuck you, man. You can be have angst and you have got a pool. And then I was lying out. It was in the sun. It was gorgeous. I was praying and meditating.
Yeah.
It still was a problem, but it helps me to refocus myself that, hey, this is part of the human experience. The Buddha talks about, life is suffering, or in life there is suffering, is his number one teaching. And I talk in the book about this quote that when he was using the Sanskrit or Pali word, it was dukkha, which actually means discontent. Life is discontent.
Yeah.
And so much of our lives, don't you find, like, is discontent? Like, I wish that could be different. And why did that person not return my call? And shoot, I wish I would have gotten that job. And I'm not getting, that's not working out the way I wanted. And how did I gain 5 pounds? And, it just is all this,
Yes.
And that's just part of being human. And guess what? There are tools you can use to kind of get yourself out of that. I wasn't terribly successful today, but it's kind of it's a North Star. It's a bellwether.
Yeah. Yes. A bellwether. Something that predicts the new direction to come.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well done.
Thank you. No, I completely agree, man. I have in the last 5 or 6 years come to really appreciate the various tools that I'm able to use to help with anxious feelings of discontent, just
And
general
morning
frustration.
pages help with that. Yeah.
Yeah, the morning pages have been incredible. I've been meditating. I have a meditation routine as well for the last, again, 5 or 6 years. Most days I try to get it in.
What do you do for meditation?
So most of my concept around meditation comes from this book by John Kabat-Zinn called Wherever You Go, There You Are.
Sure.
Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah. He's kind of the kingpin founder of like mindfulness movement.
Yes. Yeah, and like my understanding is he kind of is one of the guys that played a key role in bringing it like into Western medicine. Like he brought it into hospitals and things of that nature. But that book is great. My dad was really into that book and it helped him a lot. And similar to your book coming around right when I was like, oh, I've been feeling stuck. I need this. It was at a time when I was really kind of struggling with some of the addiction stuff we talked about and the lack of self-love. And for whatever reason, my dad came to visit me and he said, hey, I think you should have this book. I really enjoyed this book. Check it out.
Yeah.
And I started reading it, and it's cool because it's not too prescriptive, in terms of like, this is what meditation is and this is how you do it.
Yeah.
It's more like short chapters, general concepts. There's a chapter about being a mountain, and how these storms form around the mountain, but the mountain is solid,
That's great.
Or being a lake,
I have a friend who always says, be the beach. The waves are going to come.
Yes.
And they're going to come at you, and you just be the beach and let them wash up on you and observe them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Be a bad little beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly right. So I read that, and then I just kind of started, setting a timer and focusing on my breathing. And at first I could only do it for 5 minutes, stand to do it for 5 minutes, and then built it up to 10 minutes. And now I do 20 minutes a day.
Oh, damn, that's great.
Which I really enjoy. I was going to ask you, I wrote it in the margin of the book. What is because you talk about meditation and prayer. What is do you do a certain style of meditation? Is it your own unique take on meditation? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so my meditation is very similar to yours. I don't do anything fancy. I don't do any chanting or anything like that. I don't use an app or anything like that. I just try and focus on my breath. Yeah. Just really be in the moment and allow the mind to kind of cycle down. And the goal for me is, can I have a couple of minutes where I am thoughtless? So a really quiet mind. Like when I teach or lead a meditation, I always use this image that I love, which is, this is be in the course of the meditation practice. In the middle of it, like picture your mind as a cave, and inside the cave is a pond. And now throw a pebble in the center of the pond and observe the pool of your mind, the pond of your mind rippling, and the ripples slowly get lighter and they move to the side. And then just be with the stillness in the cave. And like that image, because images work better than words, I think, really allows me to be in this really quiet place, John Krasinski. And what happens for me in the meditation practice is something that I recently learned the name of, and that's metacognition. So when I'm in a deep meditative state, and I don't do it for long, I'm talking 12 minutes is all I need, And then when I'm getting into it, when I'm coming out of it, I realize I am not my thoughts.
Yeah.
We go through our heads like my thought, and I need to text back, and I got the thing, and I got to do the thing, and oh shit, where did I leave my keys? And you're just like pop, pop, pop. Your thoughts are like popcorn.
Yes.
The Buddhists call it the monkey mind.
Right.
And I'm not my feelings, because when you're in the present, there's no feelings. You're not like, oh shoot, I'm afraid of this going to happen in the future, and oh shoot, I feel regret for what happened in the past.
Yeah.
your feelings lift. You have, as the Hindus would say, Chatananga, being, consciousness, bliss. So you're being, you're just recognizing your consciousness and you're feeling bliss. But then I kind of float above myself. And I wonder if you have a similar kind of situation where it's not like I'm looking down on myself like a security camera,
right?
But I have this sense of myself as I am something else. Whatever consciousness is not just thoughts and not just feelings.
Yeah.
There is something higher to that consciousness. And that's called, in the science of the study of happiness, well-being, and positive psychology, that's called metacognition.
Okay.
Where you are rising above yourself and witnessing yourself.
Yeah.
I liken it to, instead of being on the roller coaster,
yes,
you're stepped away from the roller coaster a couple hundred feet and you're observing the roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're not in the middle of it.
Yes.
Going up and down. Do you ever have a similar
Oh, big time.
experience?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of the biggest thing that has come into my sort of life through meditation is this. And I'm only able to do it in small ways most of the time, but like this idea of being one step removed, where it's like for example, I still have this thing, and I used to have it much worse, where anytime I would do a performance, like I would do a freestyle in a important, what felt to me like an important situation, afterwards I would immediately, like the White House, or exactly, which I do all the time. Afterwards, I would say, like in my head, it would be like, that was terrible, like you bombed, it was awful. You dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't.
Even though you crushed it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it would take like several days later. I wouldn't want to watch it. It'll watch it back through my fingers and be like, it was good. It was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
But I would have that feeling. And now this maybe sort of relates to what you're saying in a sense where it still happens, but it doesn't dominate me. And it's not like this is the reality.
Right.
I'm able to almost like, go up here and be like, hey, this thing is happening. This thing that happens to you for whatever reason is happening. It's not the truth.
Yeah.
It's not the reality.
Yeah.
It's just this thing.
Do you know what Gestalt therapy is?
No.
So there's this Gestalt therapy. I think it's a branch of Jungian therapy, and my therapist does this among other things. And what it is there's this theory that we all have in our heads, we have a chorus of voices. So that would be for you, like the critical voice. And that's a very big one. Like it's you bombed that, Harry. That fucking sucked. Why couldn't you rhyme those things? God damn it. Like they're not going to like you, and they're not going to ask you back, and that's going to be online, and it's going to suck, and you're going to be embarrassed. And that, so we have a chorus of those voices, scared little kid, judgmental parent, angry, rebellious teenager who's an addict, rebel, fuck you, teenager. There's all these different people inside of us. Our addict is a voice, you know, and you can, like the morning pages, like the journaling, you can have conversations with those voices. So you can either do it by having like an empty chair, and you can say to like the critical voice, you can be like, I'm you now. Okay. I'm going to be you. Okay. And that's the critical voice. I'm going to be like, hey, critical voice, it's me, Harry. Why do you do that? Why do you always show up and tear me the fuck down all the time? Like, I don't deserve that. Like, I'm doing pretty good, but every place I go, you're always there and you're ripping me down. What is it with you? Then you get up, go sit in that chair, and then you pretend to be the critical voice. Now I'll be your critical voice.
Yeah.
Because you're a piece of shit, Harry, because you suck, and I'm here to protect you and remind you that you're a piece of shit, and I'm here to protect you, and blah, blah, blah. Then you go, then you get up, come back, and you're like, no, that's not fair. I'm not a piece of shit. I've worked hard. I've made something of myself. This is who I am. I don't need you anymore. This doesn't help me. You're hurting me. I'm not gonna, you get in that dialogue, and you can do that. You don't have to do it like play acting that might feel self-conscious. You can do it on journaling on pages.
Sure.
You can be the critical voice. And I have done this with a lot of different voices in my head over the years, and they have way less power. They have way less hold over me.
Amazing.
Because Rainn, you're a piece of shit and no one likes you voice was very strong for much of my youth.
Yeah.
And that's probably a lot of what I was trying to medicate and drown out,
Yeah.
you know, with whatever it is that we are addicted to. And now that voice doesn't, it doesn't affect me. Or I'll hear it.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you still hear it and you just referenced that. I'll hear
Right.
it and go, oh, yeah. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You don't have power over me, but thank you. Thanks for your input. Appreciate it.
Yes.
And it's just, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's the same. Even driving over here, I still, you know, I'm new at this podcasting thing. I get nervous
That's
when I
clear.
have guests
Yeah.
on.
I'm kidding. You suck at your podcast, Harry.
There's that
Harry,
voice.
you suck
Oh God.
because you're a piece of shit. You're the worst podcaster in Silver Lake.
Which is not where we are.
We're Silver Lake adjacent.
Yeah.
It's the whole east side of LA. It's the hipster side.
Yes.
I don't
yes.
belong here anymore.
Oh yes, you do. You're a legend.
Go ahead. I am a legend. But go ahead. I'm an old legend.
Oh yeah. So I get nervous for guests. So same thing. That nervous voice.
They're not going to like you.
Yeah.
You're not prepared enough.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lull in the conversation. You're not going to know what to say next.
Yeah.
You're going to say the wrong thing. All those things. It's a similar energy to the self-critical one.
Right.
But the nervous part too is very physical. You know, it's like the elevated
Right.
heart rate. The like, oh, I feel a little faint.
Yeah.
Like, did I eat enough? It's like, of course.
It's a little more of the like people pleaser too.
Yes,
right?
which
Yeah.
I have big
Yeah,
time.
me too.
I'm trying
Me
to
too.
work through that
100%.
that bad boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, even on the way here, I was having the thought, you know, okay, so like this is a thing that happens. You know, I get nervous every time before I perform. I've done hundreds of shows.
Yep.
I
Yep.
still get nervous.
Yeah.
I get nervous before all of these. I don't know if I'll ever totally get rid of it or if that's the goal.
Yeah.
But at least it's like I just see it as a thing. I
Yeah.
see it as this thing that occurs. It's this voice that starts talking, and always, as long as I can get through it, on the other side, then I've done a cool thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
it's like the cost of doing cool things.
But that's an important thing to close the loop, right? To kind of like when you hear that voice, like you're going to fuck up, it's going to be an awkward silence, you don't have enough questions, you're not prepared, they're not going to like you.
Yeah.
And then when you finish it and it's good, to kind of like give yourself strokes, you know, like
Yes.
literally like you did good, man. You see
Yeah.
that? You did it. You got through it and it went great. Like
Yeah.
because a lot of times we don't close the loop there and then we leave ourselves open
Yeah.
so that we're victimized by these voices. We don't want to be a victim to these voices of fear, insecurity, self-doubt,
Yeah.
critical voices. They're going to be there and they're always going to be chirping.
Yeah.
I play a lot of competitive tennis. Now,
Oh, nice.
I'm not great.
Yeah.
I don't suck.
Right.
I'm in the medium part of competitive tennis.
Okay.
But it's been really interesting to start to do sports in my 50s.
Yeah.
Because I never did sports before.
This is a new thing, tennis.
I've always played off and on here and there without any real regularity. A couple lessons here, or I'll play for a couple months and then not
Okay.
play. But now I'm playing like 3 times a week, take lessons,
Awesome.
do clinics, go to USTA, play in USTA matches,
Wow.
get rated, play with a team, you know, the
yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
But the same thing happens for me. Like we'll be like down in a match and I'll have the voice like, you're going to blow this. You're going to double fault. You're going to fuck up this whole match. You're going to let him down. You're going to let the team down.
Yeah.
But I get to go, there you are.
Yes.
There you are. Hey,
Yes.
how you doing? You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't own me.
Right.
You know, it doesn't make me go,
Right. Do you visualize the voices as a character or just hear them as a sound?
I don't, but that's a really good idea because they're kind of like they're like Muppets. They're like
Right.
little Muppet characters.
Right.
Hey, you're a piece of shit.
That would be cool to create those. And then when you're doing
And
that
then burn
exercise,
them.
you can, and then burn them. Yeah. And then that's it. Have a bonfire.
Hey, could I get a water? Do you have any water around
Yes, absolutely. You can get a water.
here? Do they have those?
We have those. We have access to.
Do you get
Water.
mad rappers in here smoking giant blunts while they're on them? Because I know that's a big thing in the
Yeah, giant blunts.
but in the podcast room.
In the podcast room, not yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
I'm waiting for my first giant blunt experience. I was hoping that you were going to bring. Well, actually, I knew that you would. Well, anyway, maybe a giant CBD blunt. Well, cool. We got some water coming your way.
This podcast is going terribly now. There's no water. But that's not on you. That's on your shitty team. You're a piece of shit. All of you. Mikey, Sam. Oh, that's a delicious glass of water.
Yes, the liquid of life. You're an animal lover. Are you?
Yes.
And you live with various animals.
Yes.
Can you tell us what types of animal, like what are their names? Who is in your animal village?
I have an animal village. Yes.
Yes. Amazing.
They're mostly courtesy of my wife, the wonderful, amazing Holiday Reinhorn. We've been married for 29 years.
Congrats.
Yeah, we got our anniversary coming up next week.
Oh, that's awesome.
We adopted some pigs that
Okay.
live in our backyard.
Yeah.
We have 2 Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs, the Baron von Snortington
Yes.
and Amy. Then we found a female peacock, what they call a peahen, and her name is Alma,
Okay.
and she lives with the pigs
Beautiful.
in the pig pen. We let them out to run around in the yard, but she stays in the pig pen.
And they all get along totally cool inside that pig pen?
She bullies the pigs.
Really?
So the Baron von Snortington is about 240 pounds of pig.
Damn.
And she will go up right in front of him and like get her wings going and get her little tail going.
Yeah.
And like peck and steal his food. And he'll go like, and she'll go like, and like, right. She bullies the pigs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's an alpha.
Yeah, clearly.
And we have 2 rescue pit bulls, Diamond and Poe. We've always had rescue dogs ever since we got together.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of kind of generations of rescue pitties.
Yeah.
And we got 2 guinea pigs named Baby Francis. And the other one's a new one. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean I don't love him.
No,
and
of course not.
Then nearby, when my wife rides some horses, she has a couple of horses, and then we have a donkey named Chili Beans, a rescue donkey,
Wow.
and we have a zonkey.
What is a zonkey?
That is a zebra-donkey hybrid.
Wow. Does it have stripes?
It has stripes on its legs. Yes.
Only the legs.
Yes, and his name is Derek.
Derek.
Yeah.
Shout out to Derek. And so then is Derek is Derek gray with stripes or is it black and white?
He's like, it's like a mullet, right? It's like business up top and party down below.
Yep.
He's like donkey up top, zebra down below. So like brown
Yep.
donkey on top, and then the legs are like full on zebra. Black
it.
and white stripes, a little bit of brown. Yeah.
Zonkey.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you have pets growing up?
We always just had an occasional cat and an occasional dog. We had a dog named Oscar.
Okay.
Named after Oscar the Grouch.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I had 2 cats growing up, Laurel and Azalea.
okay. Pacific Northwest plants.
Yes. My dad's a plant guy. He was a
Okay.
horticulturist, so that was his career.
Oh, okay.
He's retired now. But yeah, so he named them.
That's so deliciously dorky. Like,
Yeah.
Dad is a horticulturalist, and you were like a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
You know, that's just so Northwest.
Yeah, my mom teaches 3rd grade. She's retired as well.
Oh, okay.
She taught 3rd
Yeah,
grade. Yeah.
yeah.
So no, it was perfect. And now I'm a freestyle rapper with a podcast. So you know,
That's weird.
it is weird. Yeah, Laurel and Azalea. They were sisters, and actually, now that I think of it, on a sort of a loosely spiritual note, they Laurel and Azalea were my first like face-to-face encounter with death. I think because if I have the timeline
killed
right,
them?
yes, and it was my first time murdering.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just terrifying.
Wow. But exhilarating, kind of, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you gotta get your first time out of the way, and then it's after that,
it gets easier.
It gets a lot
easier.
Yes, yes. Murder is a tough.
No, so they died, and then
I think they died before anybody else. Like before any of my grandparents died.
Yeah.
You know, I had never had like a death in the family.
Right.
And I just remember being small. I think I don't remember what age. I might have been in 5th grade, and just me and my sister bawling in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I had never felt that before. And I was like, Jesus, this sucks. And
Yeah.
I remember, it's kind of a sad story. Azalea, we lived on a busy street. And so I think Azalea got hit by a car.
Sure.
Randomly. I don't know why after all these years of living with us, she, for some reason, marched out into the street and that happened.
Yeah.
But then her sister, Laurel, sort of like died of a broken heart. like stopped eating and was kind of like, I don't want to, it's all right.
Sad.
I don't want to do it without my.
We have
assistant.
another thing in common because I had a cat named Tex who got hit by a car, and I went out on Ballinger Way, just north of Seattle, and I saw Tex on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, like that.
Yeah.
And when I did that, the school bus from my elementary school was going by.
Oh, no.
And all the kids on the bus came up to me and were like, we saw you go like this.
Oh, no.
Was that your dead cat? Like they saw that event happen. Isn't that weird?
That is wild.
But then also like my first, and that was kind of my exposure to death too, because Tex had been missing for a couple days.
Yeah.
And the top half of him was Tex.
Yeah.
And the bottom half of him was dirt.
Damn.
Because it's like when your body decays and like the worms and maggots or whatever, like it turns to soil.
Yeah.
So it's like a mullet, business on top, party underneath. It was like cat on top, dirt.
Yeah.
And it was like, like ashes to ashes, dust to dust, like to the earth we shall return. Like I saw him literally like going into the earth. It was pretty profound.
That is profound. That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah. That's well, you talk a decent amount about death in the book in the ways that it pertains to spiritual things. I wanted to ask you, have you ever been to the Catacombs in France?
No. Under Paris?
Yeah.
My wife just went to Catacombs in Italy somewhere, in some town, maybe under Siena or something like that. But and I've seen footage, and they have I've seen YouTube footage of it.
Okay,
where you're going around and you just go like here, and there's like a femur.
Yeah,
there's still like bones down there.
Oh, dude, well, okay. Here's why I asked too, because when I was reading the book, I came to the part where you talked about your previous podcast,
Metaphysical Milkshake.
Yes, thank you, Metaphysical Milkshake, and you said you used to ask all the guests like, what's one eye-opening experience you think everybody should have?
Yeah.
I paused at that moment and I thought, what would mine be? And it dawned on me that it would be the Catacombs in France.
Okay.
Because it was just the most insane experience. It's super far underground. You go down this metal spiral staircase super far. I don't know, hundreds of feet. I'm not sure. Way down. It's dizzying,
Yeah.
And then you're in this little kind of claustrophobic cave thing.
Yeah.
With a group of people. And then the person who works there, you go up to this door and she turns to you and she's like, hey, just so you guys know, it's not really a light experience necessarily. People react to it in different ways. Some people get scared. Some people get sick. Let me know if you're uncomfortable. But just wanted to let you. And I had no idea what was going on. My fiance set it up.
Yeah.
And so as she's giving the spiel, I'm like, what is happening? And we go inside and dude, I mean, it's just millions of bones. I don't know how many more bones than anyone could ever count. And they're like artfully arranged. It's like 2 feet tall of femurs and then like 6 perfect layers of skulls and then more. And it's room after room. And
each one of those people was a spiritual being having a human experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I felt that when I was there.
Wow.
I mean, it was so epic.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was so memorable too was like, the tour guide or what have you, is pointing out like, okay, this is actually, the bones in this area are King whoever and his royal family or what have you.
Yeah.
And then in another space, it's like, oh, well, these are mostly thought to be the bones of, lowly farm workers.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yep. Looks like a bunch of bones to me, you know?
Bones are bones. Doesn't matter if you're a king or you're a plumber.
Exactly. Yeah. And I came out and it was so, I mean, it was like really eye-opening because I came out and I was like, wow, so much of what I care about, what we care about on the day-to-day or what seems important on the day-to-day just doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And eventually I'm going to be bones.
Well, that's why I write about death and Soul Boom and talk about it on the podcast too, it puts everything in perspective. You know, it really shifts perspective. And, anyone will tell you that they've lost a close one. Like, it can be devastating. It can also be really eye-opening. People that have had near-death experiences. In fact, I was talking to Arthur Brooks, the great, social scientist and happiness expert. And he said like 90% of people that get cancer and survive it's the thing that they're most grateful for in their life.
Wow.
And that really rocked my world. I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, 90%.
Wow.
Because you're come face to face with your mortality. You have to struggle to get through it. Maybe you get chemo or get something cut out of you or whatever, and it puts the rest of your life into kind of like a really meaningful perspective. But death does that in so many different ways. I write about how I lost my dad. It was about 3.5, 4 years ago, and how profound that was for me, in terms of thinking about us being spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that can happen with a cat. too.
Yeah.
It really can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny to think back on it, but yeah, at that time with the cat, it was a profound experience, I'd never felt that before. Yeah. Going in a different direction.
Yeah, let's do it.
As a rapper, as you know, I'm most known as an improviser.
Yeah.
Freestyler. I make stuff up in the moment.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you about improv. In your creative work, in your acting, like what role did improv play in like the creation of The Office, for example? Like,
sure.
Was there? I know from what I've read that there were opportunities to improvise, but how did that work? Like, what was that like?
Well, hats off to our show's creator, Greg Daniels, because a lot of what they call showrunners, like the head writer, head producer of a show, are insecure, and because they're kind of insecure, they get really controlling, right? Yeah. But he was the opposite. Like, he's like, I just want it to be funny and feel real, like a documentary, and whatever's funnier, the scripted line or the improvised line, it's going to win out in the editing room. Yeah. So he would put together different cuts of scenes, and he would bring people in, like the janitor, I'm not kidding, the janitor, the security parking guy, the accountants from upstairs or whatever, the person who makes the sandwiches for the catering, and he would bring them in and he would show them different cuts of scenes, and they would vote on which one they liked the best, and he would go with that one.
That's like, awesome.
That's a lack of ego, right?
Yeah.
And early on in the show, when it was a long casting process, and then we were rehearsing and we were shooting some, and he kind of pulled me aside and he needed to have a talk with me, and he was basically like, I came from the theater, so I did trained in the theater for like 9 or 10 years, and I come from I'm not an improv guy. Like I wasn't in Second City. Steve Carell was in Second City. That wasn't, and Oscar and Angela, so many of them had improv backgrounds. But I, was more about scripts and how to make scripts work. And he basically said, I'm a little worried. I was like, uh-oh, am I getting fired? And he's like, you're better at the improv than you are at the scripted lines. And I'd spent my whole life to that point, 14 years.
Yeah.
Because I got an acting school around 1990, and then this was, we shot the pilot in 2004. So 14 years later, here I am doing The Office. I'm doing 14 years of doing scripted work. Yeah. And he's like, I don't really believe the scripted lines. I like your improv better than your...
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit. So I went back and watched like my auditions. Fortunately, I knew one of the producers. I'm like, you got to just let me watch the auditions and to try and see what he meant. And I saw what he meant. Like, the scripted lines just sounded a little bit more scripted.
Yeah.
And when I would improvise, it sounded a little more natural.
Yes.
So I needed to make my scripted lines sound more like improv. But we improvised a lot, you know, and they always wanted to make sure we got the scene as scripted, and then they would let us go do whatever we want. And, it really is such a great pleasure when people say, oh, this is my favorite scene, or this is my favorite moment, or my favorite line. Yeah. And it's one that you like made up on the spot.
So
like
cool.
I did like, there's this episode called The Initiation, where Dwight takes Ryan to his beet farm, and I give him a beet seed, and I say to him, just as you are going to plant this seed in the ground, I have planted my seed in you. And that was improvised.
Wow.
And I just kind of thought of it on the moment. And then BJ, without missing a beat, goes, I don't think you know what you're saying, Dwight. and people will talk about like that moment or something like that. And it's so cool that I was also a part of
Yeah.
that. So super, super fun. So grateful for the whole experience.
Oh, dude, it's awesome, man. Even just hearing that story, because I love improv and I get so fired up by things that
Do you ever take acting improv classes?
I haven't, but I've been seriously considering.
You should do it.
Yeah.
Go down to the Groundlings or the Upright Citizens Brigade and
Dude, I need to do that. I literally was just talking to my fiance Lisa about that, where I was like, you know what? I think
Wait,
it would
she's
be
your
cool.
fiance?
Yeah.
You didn't say that before.
I didn't introduce myself that way, but
Well, I met you,
yeah,
but you didn't say like fiance.
because I'm Lisa.
You don't have a ring on. Are you trying to stay open to the ladies who watch the pod? Like, what's up?
Am I?
Like,
No, not at all. Am I supposed to have a ring while we're still just fiancés? Because
I don't
she
know
has
how
a
it works
ring.
anymore.
She has a ring.
You have a ring? Let me see. That's it, bro? Seriously? That's it?
She picked it.
Picked it out.
Oh, all right.
It's non-traditional the way we went about it.
Congratulations, you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Am I going to be invited to the wedding?
We would love to have you.
Yeah. When is it?
August.
Oh, I'm busy.
Oh, my dad keeps asking if any celebrities will be there, so you would have made that happen.
I can ask him all my plant questions.
Oh yeah, he would love to talk to you about plants.
Do you
man.
know that app, Picture This?
No.
Maybe they'll sponsor me now that I've mentioned that. That was my first thought. Isn't that crass? It's amazing. It's expensive. Like you
Yeah.
subscribe every year, but you take pictures of plants and it tells you what it is.
Oh, I have heard of that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, what the hell is that thing? We're walking along. My wife has it on her phone and we'll be like, oh my God, that's from like Mongolia.
Yeah.
Like, why is it here? And then you learn all about it and stuff
That's
like that. I
amazing.
love
Does
that.
it tell you how to take care of plants? Because I'm the worst, man. I kill so many plants in our
I
house.
think it has a little bit of that, but
Okay.
I'm sure there's a better app for that.
Do you have a green thumb?
No.
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 Yeah, me
I don't
neither.
cook. I don't like plants, and I let my wife take care of the animals, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Straight human guy.
yeah,
Humans and aliens.
yeah. But animal lover, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, human lover, comedy lover, improvised podcast lover.
Yes. Yes. It's beautiful, man. And I loved what you said too about the scripted line sounded too scripted.
Yeah,
Because that's like my lifelong challenge. And that's why I love freestyling, is because when I'm freestyling, the thought
yeah,
and the delivery are emerging simultaneously
Yeah.
in the most organic, natural
Yeah.
way. Like there's no consideration of like, how should I say that?
yeah,
The same way, like as I'm forming this sentence now and talking to you,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking like, oh, what should the shape be? You know,
Yeah.
should it go up? Should it go down? It's like it
Right.
just happens on its own.
Right.
And when I freestyle, that happens every time, and there's all these cool delivery things that happen. Where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that was nice. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised by it. When I'm doing written material or things that are pre-memorized, that to me is the closest I feel like I've come to acting, where I have to try to embody a
Yeah.
way in which I don't necessarily feel right then and there.
Yeah.
In order to deliver it correctly.
yeah.
It's a
yeah.
real challenge for me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that makes sense. I feel that same way with acting. Like when you improv, your focus is on like be totally talking about meditation, like being
Yeah.
in the moment, be here now. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's listening and responding. You don't even know where it's coming from.
Yes.
But sometimes when you're acting, you can get a little self-conscious and like, oh, how am I going to say this next line?
Yeah.
You know, and you never want to be as an actor in the kind of thing where you're going like, how am I going to say this? Because
Right.
then it's always going to sound stilted, no matter
Yes.
how good you try and say it. It's going to
Totally.
not sound natural.
Yeah. By the time you're having that thought, it's too late.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love it. Rainn, thank you so much for
Harry Mack.
coming on here and being with me. Truly such a joy, man. I watched all of The Office during COVID. I binged it from beginning to end.
As you were becoming a freestyle rap star, you watched The Office.
Yes.
In COVID.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was, and I,
So many good things came to you because of COVID
yeah.
and sobriety.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It is.
I got an idea for you.
Yeah. Hit me.
Harry Mac and Cheese. Have you thought about that?
I have thought about that. But do you mean as a physical product?
Yeah, make it.
Oh,
Sell
that
it.
I have not considered.
Yeah, yeah. It's like M&M with mom spaghetti.
Yes. Yes. I wonder if that's too competitive. Noodles.
I'll call him.
Okay.
He'll be fine with it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
let him know that if he
Just
wants
stick
to
with
come
the
on
elbow
my podcast.
pasta. Yeah, I'll let him know.
He can come on Flow State if he wants.
Okay.
It's totally up
Yeah.
to him.
And he doesn't even have to talk about urine.
He doesn't have to. He can.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he you know, he can talk about the mom spaghetti and the vomit and all that if he wants. Bodily functions are welcome.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Harry Mack and Cheese, you could make a fortune. Merch store.
Let's do it.
Look for it.
Can you
This fall.
Can I sponsor your podcast?
Yes.
And then you'll talk about Harry Mack and Cheese.
Win-win. It
There it
all
is.
comes around.
That's how I
This
feel.
is how business gets done
Yes.
in Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah, bring
We're
it.
doing it live.
Here we go.
We're improvising. Speaking of improvising, I would love to close this out with a freestyle.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I want to talk about, you know, some of the things we talked about and summarize them in rap form, but would you be willing to like give me some, you know, some input, some random words maybe, or a suggestion of some kind?
Can I give you random words that you don't know the meaning of?
Yes, as long as you share the meaning with me.
Sam? Lisa?
Go for it.
Team approval.
Clarion.
Yeah, clarion. What does that mean? I'm getting my beat ready.
Clear and loud. A clarion call. Is it clear and
Loud. A clarion call. Yes.
Do you want
Love it.
more?
Yeah, let's get 3.
Yarmulke?
Oh, well, that I know what that is.
Okay. All right.
Let's go with ones I don't know.
Cudgel.
Cudgel. No, what does that mean?
It's like a club for beating someone. A cudgel.
Cudgel.
Yeah. Clarion.
Clarion.
Cudgel.
Cudgel. And we'll see if it's a C word to finish the trilogy.
Do I give you a beat, by the way?
I have a beat, but would you like to give me a beat?
I can give you a beat.
Oh, hell yeah.
How about effulgence?
Effulgence.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That is the emanation, the beautiful emanation of something.
Effulgence. Like an effulgence of joy.
An effulgence of joy, and an angel has an effulgence of light coming off of them. Yeah.
Effulgence. The beautiful emanation of something. Okay, let's...
Effulgent, clarion.
Clarion, which is clear and loud.
Yep. And a
clarion call.
cudgel, which is a club.
Cudgel.
You beat someone
yes.
with a cudgel.
Clarion, cudgel, and give me the third one again.
Effulgence.
Effulgence.
Yeah.
Clarion, cudgel, and effulgence.
Oh man, this is good.
I might have to ask for reminders. This is going to be hard.
Do you want me to sit over here more close?
Oh, do what you feel, man. Be comfy.
I'm going to give you a beat, okay?
Yeah, give me a beat.
I'm not very good at beatboxing, but I'll give you something. I'll come up with something.
Come on.
Here I'm improvising. Here we
Yeah,
go.
please. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. H Mack about to carry on. I spit bright and loud, so clarion. With the call off the top. Rhyme, yes, I love to. I be beating up these beats without the cudgel. I be coming off the mental. Y'all know that the flow's mad. Shouts out to Rainn for bringing me new vocab. Every time he's rapping, yo, he goes in. Yeah. Now peep the effulgence. Did I say it right? Effulgent joy. Effulgent rhymes while I start to destroy. We coming together, people knowing that I've been raw. Mack and Rainn Wilson, we delivering the improv. Yeah. And y'all know I'm out here freeing. Not so much human, I'm a spiritual being. Having a human experience in the body. But when they become a deliverance right off of the mental, they know when I'm godly. I'ma make it happen. Y'all know that I control rooms. We need a revolution, y'all. I bring the soul boom. H Mack, man, you know I ain't no failure. Read the whole book and I brought the marginalia. Hey yo, I'm putting all the words in them boxes. I'm opening up doors cause I'm the locksmith. I make it happen. I won't face no devastation. 20 minutes on the daily. I'm doing my meditation. Focused on my breathing. The fans, I'ma rap for them. Hey yo, gotta connect with John Cabot-Zinn. I break it down for y'all. Season's greetings. With the voice in my head, I need to have a meeting. Like, hey bro, negative voice, why are you here? Why do you insist on filling me up with fear? Why do you make it so my future isn't clear? Sometimes I wish that you would simply disappear. He's like, fuck you, Harry. You know that you whack. How can you act like somehow you a Mac? You don't deserve to have a podcast. You're simply an imposter. How could you ever compete with M's pasta? Harry Mack and Cheese, that's gonna be inside of a factory. Not exactly, G. Bring it back, my G. Then I switch back to myself and say, come on. I work hard. I practice to get strong. I mean, I got famous people in a chair doing beatboxing for the first time. Are you aware? I even got Dwight Schrute to come and be a legend. And they love the freestyle that I'm repping. Y'all know what it is when I rhyme and it goes great. Anytime I spit a lyric, it'll hold weight. I can't be normal, y'all. I gotta go ape. Rainn Wilson and Harry Mack. This is Flow State.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable! Come on! Come on, did you see that? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come here.
Yes, yes.
You motherfucker. How'd you do that? Oh my God.